Hello, Blessed Newman to be canonized. Yesterday, February the 12th, we had the wonderful news from Rome. The Congregation for the Doctrine of the Saints has approved a decree on the canonization of Blessed John Henry Newman, approving as miraculous a second miracle, a second cure attributed to Newman's intercession. A pregnant woman in Chicago had severe bleeding during her pregnancy, and she prayed to Blessed Newman for his intercession. The bleeding stopped, and she delivered a healthy child sometime later. Pope John Paul II spoke to us about the need for new heralds of the gospel. These are the saints. And God continues to bless his church with men and women who teach us about the faith and about love for God. One of them is Cardinal John Henry Newman, who was born in 1801 and died in 1890. He was a teacher at Oxford, later a convert to Catholicism from the Anglican Church, an author of many books, later the founder of the Catholic University of Ireland, and the Cardinal of the Catholic Church. He died in 1890. His canonization will interest many people in reading about his life and his writings. His homilies and his short meditations are a particularly good place to start reading, and from which people can learn for their interior life and the practice of the Christian faith. There are many good biographies about Blessed Newman, such as that by Ian Kerr and Louis Bouillet, or by Mariel Trevor. I have also written a short biography on Newman called Passion for Truth, the life of John Henry Newman. The saints, their love for God is very real, very simple, and palpable. And Newman teaches us about this love for God. This love for God in the Holy Eucharist, this sense of awe before the mysteries of God. And he teaches us to obey him as his children, as his creatures. He inspires us in love for God and love for neighbor. In his meditations and devotions, which I was referring to a moment ago, he writes, for example, "Give me grace, O my Father, to be utterly ashamed of my own reluctance. Rouse me from sloth and coldness, and make me desire thee with my whole heart. Teach me to love meditation, sacred reading, and prayer. Teach me to love that which must engage my mind for all eternity." In addition to teaching us about God, love for God, and love for neighbor, Newman has many other things to teach us. And God raises new saints who emphasize different truths of the faith. One of the important teachings that God has wanted to highlight through Newman's writings is what Newman called the doctrinal principle in religion. According to this principle, God has revealed some definite truths to man, first through natural law and later through the divine revelation. And we can know these truths through the scriptures and through the teaching of the church, and we have to adhere to those truths. Those truths come to us as truths from God that we cannot alter, that we cannot change. We should not pick and choose what truths to believe, nor can bishops teach truths that contradict the teaching of sacred scripture or tradition. There has to be a real continuity with the teaching of Christ and the apostles. And that's what Blessed Newman taught and wrote about, especially in his book, The Development of Christian Doctrine. Some theologians, however, tried to adopt Newman to endorse a view of doctrinal development that is contrary to what he taught about the doctrinal principle in religion and a criteria of continuity. The English theologian Aidan Nichols has written very well, presenting Newman's view Newman's teaching about the development of Christian doctrine. And I think reading his writings can help people to have an accurate understanding of what Newman taught. Newman's contribution on this subject alone would be such great benefit to the church. But his teaching is wide and includes many other aspects. However, this particular teaching is of significant importance because of the confusion regarding marriage and human sexuality at the end of the 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century. Let us give thanks to God for the upcoming canonization of Blessed John Henry Newman. Let us read more about his writings. Let us read about his life and encourage others to do so. And let us ask the new saint to intercede for each one of us and to intercede for the church.